How's it going, everybody? AZPlow21 back here with more WMMA 5. And, well, we're here. UFC 252, Velasquez versus Rothwell, as well as another championship fight. Conor McGregor taking on Dustin Poirier for the lightweight belt. Now, we recently saw McGregor in real life face off against Khabib Nurmagomedov, and if you even have the slightest interest in MMA, you know what went on during that pay-per-view. Khabib just absolutely demolishing Conor, finishing him off in the fourth round. Conor may have won the third round, may have been looking to get back into things, but Khabib finishing it off in the fourth, absolutely dominant, 100% just dominated the fight. And then all the post-fight antics that went on, Khabib jumping out of the cage, going after Dylan Dennis, some of Khabib's guys jumping in the cage and beating up on Conor. Conor throwing shots at the cornermen that may have antagonized them to the point where they actually jumped into the cage. Irregardless, was a great fight. Khabib, still the lightweight champion. They actually said today, the Athletic Commission, that they're going to be suspending both of them for 10 days, and they're going to be having a hearing on, I believe, the 24th or the 25th of October. So not too far away from figuring out what's going to happen. Of course, we also had Derek Lewis beating Alexander Volkov, and then having that post-fight interview where he said that his balls were hot. My balls was hot. Yeah, so that's great for Derek Lewis. He's actually going to be fighting against Daniel Cormier for the light heavyweight title next month, which is incredible considering he must have been absolutely exhausted after that fight, and he even said it himself, he's nowhere ready for a title fight. He said he has to work on his stamina, his conditioning. Well, he's going to have to get in the gym yesterday and start working on that cardio because if he wants to last 5 rounds with DC, he's going to need it badly. What a fight that's going to be, though. Just wild swinging Derek Lewis against DC, who's one of my favorite fighters in real life. So that's a little bit of the real life situation in the UFC, but this is WMMA 5, a completely different world as far as the UFC. So let's run down the card here. Tai Tuivasa, of course, nice heavyweight prospect in real life, taking on Travis Brown. Joanna Shashak, still don't know how to say that name. Help me out in the comments if you know how to say it. Taking on Carla Esparza in the strawweight division. Super Sage Northcutt taking on Joe Lauzon. You can see they're ranked 20th in the UFC, taking on Lauzon. Always a nice, a very good veteran in the UFC. He's coming off a win over Gray Maynard in this world. Then we move on to the co-main event. Conor McGregor taking on Dustin Poirier. Dustin coming off of consecutive wins over Gilbert Burns and Edson Barbosa. Also, a no contest from Tony Ferguson because Tony Ferguson got popped, I believe, for drug test failure, it says there. And then Gilbert Melendez, of course, he has a win over him. So technically undefeated in his last 7 fights. So looking good on Poirier, and he's going to try to make the most out of this fight against McGregor. And then we have Cain Velasquez taking on Ben Rothwell for the heavyweights title. Rothwell with 4 straight wins coming into this one, with the wins being over Badorf, Arlovsky, Ngannou, and Black Beast Derek Lewis. A 40-10 record, unbelievable. Just 38 years old. Big Ben finally getting a shot at the crown. Cain Velasquez, of course, coming in. Defeated Alistair Overeem to defend the crown. Beat Miocic, beat him again in the rematch. Then beat Derek Lewis in order to retain his crown. And beating Overeem, and now we are here, and Big Ben Rothwell is his next challenger. So we're going to go right into it, UFC 252, but before we do that, we're going to take a look at what is next. So next episode, we're going to be taking a look at Mousasi versus Al Hassan. Gegard Mousasi and Abdul Razak Al Hassan in the main event of that one. You can see the rest of the card there, including Phil CM Punk Brooks taking on Vidal Gayet. You can see there hasn't had the best of luck in his pro fighting career in this game, just like he hasn't in real life. You can see the list of opponents that he's faced, including Mickey Gall, of course, Chad LaPriest, Leonardo Santos, Marvin Vittori, Charles Byrd, and Alessio Di Chirico. So I'm not sure exactly why I'm keeping him in here. You can take a look at his skills, and he's not that good. I mean, he's also 41 years old, so I'm really only keeping him because he has mid-level national name value worldwide. So he's a popular guy, but his intent is to be used on the preliminary card or on these small UFC fight night cards. There's really no purpose in keeping him. I might just let him go when his contract runs out if he doesn't retire first. But yeah, CM Punk is on the next episode's fight card. Gegard Mousasi and Al Hassan main eventing. Also, we have Brendan Schaub on that card. James Tahuna. You might recognize some of those names. Next fight night card, Vinny Malakhaya taking on Kutalaba in the main event of that one. Our next UFC on Fox card, Namajunas versus Casey. That is going to be for the strawweight title. As it is right there, you can see there. It's actually for the interim strawweight title. As we can see, I believe it's Claudia Gadella. Yeah, there she is. She is currently out with, not with an injury actually. She's actually just taking a hiatus. Any other company would just, strip the belt from her, but I'm electing to, let her hold on to the belt. This is going to be the belt interim for now, and then when she comes back, she can obviously fight the interim champion to see who the undisputed champion is. Cody Garbrandt and John Lineker also fighting on that card. And after that, it's UFC Fight Night. Marcin Tybura taking on Dmitry Sosnovsky in Poland. And then we move on to UFC 253, Dillashaw versus Almeida for the Bantamweight Championship. Dillashaw taking on Almeida. And we also have Tyron Woodley in a catchweight fight, kind of welterweight versus middleweight fight against Talis Latis. So that should be an interesting one. And so that's what we got going for the next couple of episodes. UFC 252 right there. Velasquez versus Rothwell. And I am actually going to get things started for us here. So here we are, UFC 252. And we are underway here with the first prelim. Andrea KGB Lee, a huge favorite at 10-4 over Rachel Ostovich, who might be let go. She's 5-6, no real purpose. I don't like having losing records on the UFC banner, and if she loses, which she does, she will be gone. So Rachel Ostovich gone. She's 5-6, but she loses this one, and I don't like losing records. I will be letting her go following this fight. So KGB Lee moving to 11-4. This now her second consecutive win. Has wins you can see there over Emily Whitmire, Jodie Esquibel, and now getting one over Ostovich. So good on KGB Lee. And so the next one is going to be Poliana Botello taking on the Warrior Princess Diana Belbita. Looks to be kind of close. Nova União is where Botello is training out of. Romanian is Belbita. We'll see who comes out on top this one, as it's actually Belbita, the underdog, who takes it and goes 14-7, just 24 years old. So one to look out for. As we can see, we signed her up from Bellator. Loss over Bruna Ellen, win over Emily Decote. So Belbita getting it done. As you can see, her skills are slightly improving, but she's still not all that great. But getting a win over Botello, who, well, this is her first loss in a while, lost to Fabian, but then came with 2 straight wins, and losing this one here, not looking so good for her. She's getting up there a little bit in age at 31 as well. Only 24 years old is Belbita. And she's happy to start her UFC career with a win. So now John Moraga versus Scoggins in what I believe is going to be the bantamweight division. Actually, that's the flyweight division. I'm going to take Moraga with this one. I've always been a fan of his. As Tank Scoggins beats him with a kick in 50 seconds with a knockout, moving to 14-7. And he's happy that his kicking power was able to get it done. So a loss for Moraga there is not too good. Scoggins taking the win. Next is TJ Grant's 22-7, heavily favored over John Tuck at 14-5. Taking a look at TJ Grant here. Last time out was a loss to Justin Gaethje. And for John Tuck, his last fight out was a win over OAM. Also losing to Carrington Banks recently, but before that was on quite the win streak. So I'm going to go ahead and take Grant on this one. And he does take it in unanimous decision despite not having a fight team. So looking good on the 36-year-old. He said he has a lot of respect for Tuck. So next is Frankie Saenz taking on Kyung Mr. Perfect Ho Kang. And this is actually the bantamweight division. Frankie Saenz getting up there in age, 40 years old, you can see. And Ko Hang, 32. I'm going to take the younger guy here. simply because of the age difference, and I believe Frankie Saenz might be retiring at 40. He's not exactly a contender, so doesn't have much to fight for, and taking a loss here, I'm not sure he's going to be sticking around. And as Ho-Kang, I should say, praises Saenz for a tough fight. Nicholas Musok taking on Jonathan Spider Webb. You say Musok, their no fight team, so I'm going to take Spider Webb on this one. 18-2-1 taking on 17-6-1, and Jonathan gets it done. Rafael Carvalho taking on Fearless Tom Breeze. Now, Carvalho is very interesting because I did pick him up from Bellator. As you can see there, had a loss to Ed Ruth. A couple more wins in Bellator. Picked him up, had him face off against Hector Lombard. He lost in the first round to a knockout, so he's still ranked number 16 in the middleweight division, but he's not exactly super popular, so he has to get some wins under his belt, and he might do so over Tom Breeze, as he does getting a unanimous decision. So Rafael Carvalho, with his first UFC win, brings us to Brett the Pikey Johns, who was very recently in contention for a title shot, but a couple of losses have really stopped that. Brett Johns, you can see there, a big win over Cody Garbrandt had him in consideration. If he had won that fight over Rafael Assunção, I believe I was going to give him a title fight, but he loses that one and then goes on to lose to Movsar Evloev as well. So now he's kind of right back down in the pecking order. So Pikey Johns taking on Johnny Eduardo, and I'm going to take the guy from Wales here this time. He needs to get a couple of wins under his belt, and he wins it in unanimous decision. And he wants to face off with John Lineker next. That might be a pretty good fight to make. As the last prelim fight is Paddy the Batty Pimblett, looking like a 15-year-old, taking on the veteran and Cub Swanson. I'm going to take the young guy here, hoping he can get a win, add some momentum to his name. Had a loss over Bubba Jenkins, kind of stopped his momentum a little bit. Has a win over Clay Guida and Hirota. So I'm going to hope that Pimblett takes it here because Cub Swanson is getting up there in age. He's not necessarily going to be a contender anytime soon. He's coming off like 4 losses in 5 fights. So Paddy Pimblett, ugh, such a weird name. But anyways, he takes it TKO in the second round. Good on him. Pimblett with the win. And he wants to fight Darren Elkins next. That'll be interesting to see if that happens. As we are now on to the main card of UFC 252. Tai Bam Bam Tuivasa taking on Travis Brown. Of course, Travis, the husband of Ronda Rousey, coming off a win over Zumana Cisse, but before that, 4 straight losses. Well, a lot of consecutive losses, I should say. So Travis Brown taking on Tuivasa, who was on quite a nice little run. A last loss to Tabura. Beat Blades, as I ran The Ultimate Fighter season in this game, and that ended up being the final of that season, Blades versus Tuivasa, and Tuivasa came out on top. Last fight was against Brendan Schaub, and he won that one via knockout in the first round. And there you can see number 13th ranked heavyweight in the division, Tuivasa. I'm going to take him to win this one over Brown, as Tuivasa, knocks him out in round number 1. The protege of Mark Hunt, some are saying. And he's really happy that he can rely on his punching power. All right, so now the former strawweight champion and Joanna Jędrzejczyk, I still don't think I'm saying that right, taking on Cookie Monster Carla Esparza. Esparza coming off a win over Jessica Aguilar, lost to Namajunas, has already lost to Jędrzejczyk twice. So this match happening for the 3rd time, and Jędrzejczyk is coming off a loss to Namajunas for the interim title. Beat Carolina Kowalkiewicz, lost to Claudia Gadelha, the current champion, beat Carla Esparza, and beat Jessica Andrade so far in this fight save. Very close here. I'm gonna go for Joanna just because I'm kind of a fan of hers. She does have the 5-inch advantage over Esparza. I'm going to take her, and Joanna gets it done. Knockout in round number 2 is a fantastic fight, apparently. Already a contender for fight of the night. So let's see what Joanna has to say, see who she calls out here. And she just loves MMA. She says, and again, and again, and again, and I'm going to keep still winning. All right, so Joanna getting the win there. And then Super Sage Northcutt now taking on Joe Lauzon. Joe Lauzon, of course, a veteran of the game. Super Sage Northcutt, still a kid. In this game, he's 24 years old. In real life, I believe he's around 21, 22. So 6 foot, number 20th ranked lightweight in the division, taking on Joe Lauzon. Look at all those wins he's stacking up. Bobby Green, Reza Madadi, Evan Dunham, John McDessie, Benil Dariush. He could be main eventing shows, but I still want to keep building him up. Not like wasting his drawing power right now by giving him a title shot or anything like that. Just keep him stacking up wins. You can see he's heavily favored, so he's got to be improving his actual skills. You can see they're all green. He's actually really good in a lot of these categories, low-level international. Keep building up these names. He's young. We want him to be popular for a long time, not just for a short time. So just keep building up his legacy, and then boom, put him in a title fight, and then boom, they mean even a lot more. That's what that's how you do well in these games. You build up these fighters, give them a lot of wins under their belt, give themselves a name value, while they're also increasing their skills. So that way, when you put them in the big fights, they actually mean something, and they draw a shit ton of money. So I'm going to say he takes this over Lauzon. He's a really good fighter, of course, a veteran of the game. He's also very good, but as you can see there, look at those skill levels just dropping down with his age, and has not, been a contender anytime soon. He's not going to be, and I say Northcutt takes this easily, as he does in 28 seconds into round 1. So Northcutt still just dominating in this division, and he's going to be a name to look out for. Northcutt, make sure that you remember the name in real life and in this save. Look out, he's probably going to face a top 15 opponent next, I'd imagine. Hopefully he can beat that guy. All right, so now here we are. Conor McGregor taking on Dustin Poirier for the lightweight championship. The 32-year-old Conor McGregor taking on the 31-year-old Poirier. 25-5-2 for Poirier, 26-4 for Conor. Just recently in real life, of course, losing to Nurmagomedov. Actually beat him in this game at UFC 241. He beat Tony Ferguson, he beat Eddie Alvarez, but lost to Edson Barbosa, but then won it back in the rematch. Then beat Nurmagomedov, and then beat Gaethje. So McGregor's just been on a tear, has been absolutely dominating. There you can see his skills just absolutely wrecking everybody. So there you can see, look at all those. Self-confident, trash talker, volatile, career short notice. What does this even mean? He'll take short notice fights. That's good to know. Big game player, thrives in high pressure situations. That's really cool to know. So unbelievable Conor McGregor. He's considered one of the best ever in this one, and that estimated value of $250,000 per fight does not even cut it. I don't know if I can show you his. There you go. So 269, 222 per fight, with a win bonus of 100. So that gives him $500,000 per victory per fight. But if he loses, he only gets 260,000. Performance scale means contract rises by 2.5% every time he wins. He still has 5 guaranteed fights. He gets a 46% bonus per title fight. So that's about half of that. So that's another $300K. 54 per title win. So that'd be like another $150,000 if he were to win the title fight. 42 per title defense. That's like another $100K. 68% per main event appearance. So that's like maybe $160K. 68 per main show appearance. So basically all the bonuses are what's really getting Conor his money. So Conor, definitely the highest paid guy in the company. In this game, still doesn't stack up to what his actual numbers are, getting money-wise, real life. But facing off against the Diamond, Dustin Poirier, who's not been a slouch himself, only making $23,000 per fight guaranteed. Coming off wins, of course, over Gilbert Burns and Edson Barbosa, the former champ, which is probably why he ended up getting this title fight, in my view. And so we're ready. It looks like we are ready to get this title fight underway. McGregor, no fight team. That might be interesting to note. As we go ahead in this title fight, Herb Dean, the referee, and just glad that you guys are watching again. Of course, I was on a little bit of a hiatus, but I'm glad to get you guys some more of these videos. I am kind of missing playing this game for fun, just by myself, so I might do some episodes where I kind of play a bunch and do kind of like just an update video and do maybe just like the UFC main pay-per-view cards. I might just do that moving forward, just because I do miss playing this game just on my own and having fun with it. So that is probably what I'm going to be doing, as McGregor looks to be finishing off Poirier and starting to hammer him. McGregor unloading and already stopping the fight in the first round. Conor McGregor takes it by TKO and is still the lightweight champion of the UFC. It was a great fight, and I'm interested to see what Conor says. And he knows how to work the crowd and sell himself. McGregor celebrates having won the title. And as I'm typing this, and as I'm saying this, I am just now remembering that I did not put this on the pay-per-view providers. And that is a really huge fucking mistake. Yeah. Okay, so I'm not going to make any money off this pay-per-view. I'm just now realizing this. Cool, okay. So main event time, Cain Velasquez and Ben Rothwell. That's really pissing me off that I'm realizing that right now. That's my fault entirely. That's a really big fuck up on my part, because I'm going to spend all this money on oh God. Conor's contract's going to fuck me with this show. He just won too. That's like nearly $1 million that I'm paying him. And I didn't put it on pay-per-view. I basically just said, hey, let's go to Vegas and have a show and not put it on TV. That's really dumb. That'd be like if Dana just forgot to be like, oh yeah, it's going to be on pay-per-view. We're just going to have the show. Ugh. That is a really stupid move by my part. Make sure that you check that you're putting your shows on actual pay-per-view providers or on TV if that's the only kind of deal that you can get. Keep going into your matchmaking tab and making sure that those broadcasters are set up. That's very important because that's a lot of your income in this game. Now, I can afford to lose millions of dollars because I'm the UFC, but it's just annoying. You know what I mean? Like, we're having this pay-per-view and no one's going to fucking see it. Ugh. Wow, that's really going to annoy me for the rest of the episode. Okay, cool. So, heavyweight championship fight. All right, Cain Velasquez. There you can see his fight history. You already mentioned his title defenses. And Big Ben Rothwell, we already mentioned him taking out Ngannou and Lewis. So let's go ahead and get this heavyweight championship fight underway. I'm going to say Velasquez retains. I don't think Ben Rothwell has the wrestling capabilities that Velasquez has to take the title away. As Cain, of course, not the best boxer, but if he gets it to the ground, it's going to be basically game over. Feel free to roast me in the comments about my mistake there, not putting it on pay-per-view. I can't wait to see how much money we lost, as the first round looks to be coming to a close, and Rothwell's already getting tired. No real big things happening in the first round. Quick jab, that's going to end the first round. Velasquez took it. Another 4 rounds to come if they are able to. Isn't able to connect. I still think Velasquez is going to take it, even if he does it by boring lay and pray. Although it hasn't been taken to the ground yet. He's controlling the clinch, and Rothwell's looking really tired. And Rothwell's cut under the eye. So already it looks like Velasquez is going to take this one. And big strike. Velasquez trying to clinch. I don't exactly remember who got that big strike. As that's the end of round 2. Velasquez takes it. So my guess is that Velasquez had that big strike. He's already cut under the eye as Rothwell, so he's in big danger for the next coming rounds. Rothwell's knocked by that shot. Velasquez firing in. And the referee jumps in and stops. And the winner in the 3rd round by TKO. And still your heavyweight champion, Cain Velasquez, in the 48 seconds in round 3. Interesting to see what happens next in the heavyweight division. Cain Velasquez happy with the heavyweight title around his belt. There you can see the gate. Wow. Unbelievable. Whoa. So, okay, so we can already see the show was not broadcast by anyone. Huge fuck up on my part. Look at that attendance. Look at that attendance. 30,000. That's at this point. That's not even in an arena. That's at like, I don't even know what that would be. That would be like it. So if it's it's in California, 30,000. That's like more than That's way more than like StubHub Center. Like the my goodness. I'm trying to think of like an arena that can fit 30,000 people. It would have to be like a soccer stadium or something. So basically, they filled out like a soccer stadium plus like floor seats and stuff. That's incredible. I cannot wait until they fill out like a baseball stadium or a football stadium or something. That's gonna be fucking incredible. That's my goal ultimately, to be able to fill out like 100,000 in attendance, to get like a super card going where I have like 5 championship fights. That would be incredible. That's probably going to be something that I do for UFC 300. Is where I have a card where it's just a stupidly stacked card. But I mean, critical rating 676, commercial rating 100%. That means that this drew a lot. This could have made so much fucking pay-per-view money, but I didn't. But look at the money we made on the gate. That's just from ticket sales. $8,900,000. That's $9 million made just from people coming. We didn't even need the money from the pay-per-view. I'm curious to see how much money we ended up losing. We increased our popularity in the United States. So because we threw such a great show, we increased our popularity despite not being on pay-per-view. So that just goes to show how great my shows are despite my fuck-ups. The company's doing great in spite of me, really. All right, so fight of the night, as we saw with the fantastic fight rating, is Jacek against Esparza. KO of the night is Tai Tuivasa over Travis Brown, and the submission of the night goes to Kyung Ho Kang. They get $50,000 bonuses, and we're going to see how much money we lost, if any, as we actually... Okay. See, I was concerned. As you can see, we gave Conor McGregor $874,000, Cain Velasquez $671,000, Jacek $344,000, and then it really just goes down from there. But wow, unbelievable. So yeah. So we ended up only paying our fighters $2,500,000. Our gate receipt basically ensured us our profit. We could have made so much more off pay-per-view, but it doesn't even matter. We profited off the show anyways. So yeah, wow. So really stupid on my part. We ended up doing okay anyways. But yeah, that was UFC 252. I'm gonna take a look at what else we have going on and give you a quick recap over the shows that are to come. As I think the next episode I am gonna bring you is going to be the next pay-per-view card. So I'm just gonna go over quickly again the fight cards that are coming up, as well as the pay-per-view card that is coming up. That's gonna be what the videos are going forward, just so that way, I can play a little bit on my own. I'll be able to, keep you guys updated on stuff, but also show you guys the pay-per-view cards. So yeah, ultimately that 300 card is what I'm looking forward to. I don't know if we're going to get there episode-wise, but that'd be really cool. Just throw on a huge show and hopefully draw at least 100,000. That's my goal. I'm going to say that right now. My goal in this save is to draw 100,000 people to a show. It would have to be in Nevada probably, and it would probably have to... Well, see, that's the thing, though. I don't think Nevada has any stadiums that are worthy of holding 100,000. So I'd have to do it somewhere where it's capable of holding 100,000, which would be California in like the Rose Bowl or something, Texas in Jerry World inside the Cowboy Stadium, or like Michigan in the Big House. It would have to be somewhere where it would make sense. Because a lot of this save is me trying to do things that make sense. Because if I didn't want it to make sense and I just wanted to do it to just fuck around, I would put CM Punk in title fights all the fucking time. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of this is kind of, it's like a labor of love, because I want to do it just because I like doing this. But at the same time, I want to do it because it makes sense. And I want to do it because it's the right thing to do. And that's what I try to do with my contenders and the title fights that I put on. See, as you can see here, I have my little contenders and who's next kind of deal, and like who's should be fighting for the title. So there you can see Rothwell just lost. So now, boom, JDS is the next contender, although that can change depending on results that happen, who gets injured, if anyone impresses me. But that's the fight that's looking to be made next, is JDS. There you can see their light heavyweight division, the unification bout, because I believe Poirier just came back from injury. Yeah, he just came back from injury. So there you can see Cormier versus Rumble Johnson is the fight to be made. which is very unfortunate because he's crushed him before. It's neither here nor there, but that's the fight that's going to be made for the unification of the belt. And then Beyonce, if he wins, see, the thing is, I don't know if Beyonce is ready for a title fight. I might put it on UFC on Fox if that's the case, just because I don't know if he's capable of drawing. But Beyonce has proved that he's earned a title shot, but not necessarily, if that makes sense. A lot of politics and stuff that goes on with this kind of stuff. Beyonce doesn't have the kind of name value that even someone like Rumble Johnson, who, has lost to DC in the past, but is the interim champion. Confusing, I know, but that's kind of how I would see it playing out in the UFC, and that's how it plays out in the save under my watch. So there you can see JDS next in line for Velasquez, unless something stupid comes up. But let's go ahead and take a look at the next cards. So we have UFC on Fight Night, Mousasi versus Al Hassan. UFC on Fight Night, Melgaez versus Kutalaba. UFC on Fox, Namajunas versus Casey. UFC Fight Night, Tabur versus Sofsnovsky. And then UFC 253, Dillashaw versus Almeida, which is the next episode I'll be bringing to you guys. And there you can see the card. Roy Nelson, Derek Lewis, Talis Latis, Tyron Woodley, Darth Ryan Bader, Max Nunes, Robbie Lawler, Daichi Abe, and TJ Dillashaw, Thomas Almeida. And here you can see I already have a bunch of stuff already scheduled, including 254, Luque versus Nelson, which is Luque versus Nelson, of course, for the welterweight title, and then Conan versus Cyborg for the featherweight title. And then 255 is going to be Daniel Cormier taking on Rumble Johnson in order to unify, of course, that light heavyweight title. And then I also have Costa versus Machida for the middleweight title. So those are the pay-per-view cards that I'm going to be showing you coming up. If you guys have any questions, any fighters that you guys want to see, and real quick, I think someone wanted me to mention Dano, Jairus Dano. Someone was mentioning. I believe he is on my roster. There he is, Jairus Dano, Man Mountain Dano. Not exactly sure why someone wanted to see this, but powerlifter Dano is cut weight to make the 265 power limit. Nice power and is dangerous in the clinch. He is currently 7-2-1-2. 2-2-1-2 in the UFC. So he has, those were before the save started. So he's beaten Chris De La Rocha, but then did he? Well, let's see. Did he get suspended? No. So he lost that fight to De La Rocha, but then it was turned into a no contest because he probably failed the test. He beat Daniel Spitz and then lost to Dmitry Smolyakov and then beat Tyler East. So that's where Dano is at. Someone wanted to see that. Now, I'm curious. Tukagov. What's his fucking name? I can't remember. Zubar Tukagov. There he is. So this is the guy that punched Connor from behind. Zubaira Tukagov. He is currently recuperating after losing to Corey Sandhagen. You actually saw him fight on that Ruth versus Carda Sapato fight card that I actually showed you not too long ago. He's off 2 straight losses. I'm not going to cut him just because of the stuff that he had going on. If you want to see what Khabib is doing, his next fight is against Justin Gaethje at UFC Fight Night, Khabib versus Gaethje. He's coming off a win over Gilbert Melendez. Of course, losing to Conor McGregor in that title fight. Has also beaten Kevin Lee and lost to Tony Ferguson. So that's Khabib. Look at him. Oh, the eagle. One of my favorite fighters at this point. And rooting for him in real life, and just look at him. What a great guy, despite, jumping in the cage and jumping out of the cage and all that shit. What a guy. Let's see. Anyone else? John Jones. John Jones is still here. However, he is suspended from the UFC for another 10 months in game. I most definitely will be bringing him back. One of the greatest of all time, as it says right there. It's hard. It's hard because I really do like John Jones as a fighter. John Jones is the reason that I got into MMA. I saw I didn't see him on the cover. He was one of the demo fighters for UFC Undisputed 3, the game that came out around 2010, 2011. He was one of the demo fighters that you can use like in the demo that you can download for free on like the PS3 PlayStation Store. So I didn't buy the game. I bought the demo, like I downloaded the demo and I played it. And I was so intrigued by John Jones because he's like so lanky, so long. So he doesn't look like he should be athletic, but he is, and he's like the most athletic guy I've ever seen step into the octagon. He's so versatile. He's such a great fighter. He's the reason I got into MMA. He's the reason I fell in love with this sport. Um, I was 100% John Bones Jones, like complete stan, huge fan of his. But it's undeniable to say that he's really fucked up his life. He's fucked up his entire UFC career. He's fucked up the UFC career of Daniel Cormier. Although Daniel has been able to bounce back from that and prove that he's one of the greatest of all time as well. But John Bones Jones is one of my favorite fighters, and I know that's going to piss a lot of people off, but it's the truth. He's like top 3 of my favorite fighters. DC is also another one of those guys. But yeah, so when that 10 months is up, he will most definitely be fighting for me. And this is going to piss you off, but he's fighting for the light heavyweight title the moment he gets back because he deserves it. He's the best. He's one of the best of all time. There's no reason he should be fighting for anything other than the light heavyweight title, unless he decides he wants to be a heavyweight, which is looking likely because he kind of wants to fight Brock Lesnar. With that, I'm going to sign off for you guys. I'll take a look at some of the mail here, just a bunch of contract renewals that I have to do. So with that, you guys, I'm going to sign off here. AZPlow21, thank you for watching. WMMA 5, I love this game. I hope you guys do too. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. I'll see you guys later.